Oh.
And it says we are live.
All right.
All right. We had some people sending in some comments before asking what time zone this is, Eastern Standard. Awesome. All right. We got some people that are showing up.
Awesome. Okay,
All right.
so
Well, I guess we'll just start since this will be recording. We're going to also turn this into a VRM podcast for those of you that are following the show. Just a quick little introduction for those of you that don't know who we are. I'll let Patricia introduce herself first.
so my name is Patricia Moore, and I've been in the short-term rental business since 2008. Hosted thousands and thousands of guests. And in the last couple of years, I've been very focused on regulations, getting fair regulations for all of us, and was successful at getting a bill through to the Senate in the state of Virginia. Unfortunately, got held up, but that is my general full-time focus, is helping all of us get fair regulation.
All right. Well, I am John Bell. I am co-host of VRM. Of course, if you guys don't know me, I'm with Julian Sage. We are probably going to submit more videos to you guys, probably back to 2 times a week. So if you don't know us, definitely check us out on the Host Nation Facebook group.
And of course, I'm Julian Sage. I host the Short-Term Rental Success Stories podcast and Vacation Rental Machine with John Bell. We're all DC locals, and we meet up at our local meetup. But really, we just want to start sharing some messages about this. So I wanted to get Patricia on because Patricia's got just a wealth of information, and she reached out to me asking to help get this out to you guys. So I'll let Tricia kind of take the reins from this point, and we'll kind of guide this wherever Tricia kind of sees fit. But
Okay.
what we are going to be talking about is this COVID-19 SBA bill. So for those of you that don't know, the SBA is the Small Business Administration, and they've been working with the government to provide a bill that would support hotels during this time. But from what Patricia's been saying and what she's been communicating with is that there is no inclusion of short-term rental operators. So that really leaves us out to dry. And there are more homes, more individual homes than there are hotels. So us small business owners are going to be more seriously impacted by something like this. I'll let kind of Tricia take it from here, but.
So, since COVID-19 started, it's been kind of a horrible situation for everybody that does short-term rentals. And across the board, what I'm seeing in all the chats that are coming across is that people are not getting the income that they were. And in fact, in some cases, their income streams have been pulled back away from them. So there's been, massive concern that, our income has completely disappeared. And so right now, it's really important to figure out ways that we can be more successful as business owners. So I've been trying to share within my groups of the different things people can do. And the SBA does have different kinds of loans that are available to businesses that are out there. But right now, there are emergency bills that are being run through the Capitol, and they are working on putting these bills together to help people out because it's an emergency situation for all of us. And you still need to have income coming in to manage things. And you still need to be able to pay your mortgages and your bills and so on. And although it looked like some of those bills were actually going to be beneficial and help us out, at this point in time, we're not included in those bills. So in the past couple of days, I've been reaching out to different people that I've known either within the SBA or different senators that are affiliated with properties that I own. So I've reached out to Virginia senators and Maryland senators and people in DC that are on the actual bill themselves, and come to find out that at this point in time, what's being floated through the Capitol does not include short-term rentals. So what's really critical is that we make sure that we ask our representatives to include short-term rentals in it. We've all seen regulation come across. We're all paying taxes. We all get 1099. You pay federal and state taxes on that income. And now across the board, there are additional taxes that are being collected, as well as TOT tax. So we are absolutely within our right to ask for additional assistance in this. And Julie and I were talking earlier today, and the short-term rental business model is about $57 billion annually versus the hotel model, which is probably about $570 billion annually. But that still is a huge amount of income. So if you don't have any revenue coming in at all, it's critical to have access to those emergency funds. And the only way that that is going to happen is if we ask. So a couple of people that are on some of the forums that I manage, which is on Facebook, Airbnb Legal Barriers, have reached out through the SBA to try and get access to loans, and they're being told that their zip codes are not included. And then I verified with Senator Tim Kaine's office, with one of his legislative aides, that at this point in time, they're still trying to figure out what to do with the bill. They're still trying to formulate what's going to be on the bill. And then I also verified with Senator Chris Van Hollen's office that they went through the bill in detail, and short-term rentals are not included right now. So what's critical is we need to ask to be included. And it's very simple if you haven't done anything like this before, although you've probably been asked to before. What you want to do is reach out to your representatives in the Capitol where you are a constituent. So, you go to the representative's website and you put in your address and your zip code, and your representatives will come up. And that information, once you put that in there, then you can just give them a call and basically tell them, as a team, we're really struggling to get through this. And I actually included, and if you can go to that next page, Julian, to show what those steps are, it would be really helpful. So when you're looking through this, Julian actually and John put together a survey for us. And what we're trying to do is capture information so that by zip code in the future, we can help you get fair regulations. So number one would be to go to this link that's listed here on this page, and we'll publish it again so people can see it. And then it'll take you through a series of questions. And as you're going through the questions, it's going to help you find your representatives, both your representatives and your senators. And then you can either email them directly and just tell them that, we need additional support. And so Julian just put up another page, and he's kind of showing you, here's the links for the representatives in the House. And then here's the link for the senators in the House. And there's just a drop-down menu that you go through. And then you just basically want to call them up. The best possible situation is to actually call them, because they don't get phone calls from a lot of people. So when a constituent takes the time to actually call and say, I am really concerned about my income, and here are the reasons why. And you can basically read right off of this document here. There are a lot of short-term rental owners and vacation rentals. There's more than 1 million of us. 1 out of 10 of our hosts are teachers. More than 50% of us are women. And the fastest growing group of hosts is seniors. That income right now is close to zero. For many people, it is in fact zero. We are independent contractors. We pay full taxes, and we need access. This is the critical thing. We need to be included so we get access to these SBA loans at zero or very low interest rates. I'm going to say that again because that's the most important part. We need to be included in order to get full access to these SBA loans at zero or very low interest to keep paying our bills and to take care of our homes. And additionally, something that I've been adding out there when I've talked to some of the senators' offices is many of the hosts would be willing to help out during this emergency situation. We have more beds than there are hospital beds in some cases. And we would be willing to share our homes or apartments with people that are in need of emergency places to stay. So that would be doctors, nurses, emergency military that might be, moving around the area to help out with different things. Or I would be willing to, and of course it depends on the host, but I would be willing to actually host and help people that are not critically ill, but are a little bit ill, so they don't have to go home and stay with their families. So I think it opens up an avenue where we in this industry can be seen very positively, and we need to be. But in order for us to get there, we really need to step up and speak up. So that's what I'm asking everybody to do. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, we have everything coming in live. So as you guys are commenting on either YouTube or on the Host Nation Facebook page, we'll be able to see your comments. So I see like Jonathan Dunn left us a comment. We had some other people leave comments as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Really, the whole point of this live stream is to get you guys to take action. We need to take action towards emailing or calling our senators and our representatives in regards to this thing, which is this bill that is going through for the COVID-19. If you go to the links that we included, you can easily find your representative, find your senator. I think it's actually trying to find here. So here's the actual website where you can see the disaster loan assistance. So if you go to disasterloan.sba.gov declarations, you can actually find and see all of the different states that have signed this. But just because a state has signed has signed saying that they are willing to push this forward does not mean that we are going to be covered. Short-term rental operators are going to be covered. And Patricia, how where are we? How do we know that we're not going to be included in this disaster loan assistance program?
Well, based on the conversations that I had today with Senator Chrisanne Holland's office, short-term rentals are not included anywhere in the bill, and they're not being discussed at this point in time. And I talked to several other senators' offices as well, and they're not aware of any discussions that are happening with short-term rentals. So the way that we really make a difference on this is to actually go ahead and call or send an email and say we want to have short-term rentals included.
There is one thing to add. I'm pretty sure that everybody might have seen the letter that Airbnb has sent out to the Senate and Congress, basically asking for this. This is further proof that we are not included in this whole bill. I know I was super excited that the SBA was going to come out and offer some services to people that are actually just going through a little hardship because the travel industry has shut down. Well, this letter and just kind of going over the generic bill itself, we know that the hotel lobbyists have been face to face with the president trying to just get him to approve the major funding that they're asking for. But we didn't see Airbnb also have that same table right there with the president. So we are technically excluded, and most of us are just small time hosts where we don't really have a business kind of stood up at the same time. Some of us are big like myself, where, hey, I have multiple apartments across the US at the same time. I'm vacant. I'm not bringing any income in. And this whole thing really is upsetting just because we're not there just yet. But we need to do our part to make sure that, hey, we are at least making our voice known to our representatives.
Right. Yeah, we can't rely on just Airbnb to do everything for us. If we're trusting, we've seen what Airbnb does when we just kind of trust that they are going to take care of everything. It's really unfortunate what happened to all of us hosts. But there's nothing, that's what Airbnb's calls. If we're trusting Airbnb to go and represent us, then, we also need to be there. We're all small business owners. We all should be, we're all being affected by this. So that's the call to action, guys. Go to shorttermsage.com/KOH. You're going to fill out a form that allows you to either join the email list. So Patricia will be sending out emails and updating you of everything that she, this is really kind of Patricia's, passion. She loves helping hosts. This is what she's been doing. She's super involved. She's founded other organizations to help support short-term rental hosts. So she'll be the one emailing you updates on anything that might be happening. So if we can all unify our voices and say like, hey, let's all collectively, send out emails at the same time. And if a senator or a representative is getting hit from a bunch of different people with basically the same message, you can even include your own story, your own personal story about how you're affected. I know Patricia has gone through a lot of cases, going all the way up to, was it the Supreme Court, or not the Supreme Court? You went up to the
Virginia. Well, we got in front of the Virginia Assembly, which is, the capital in the state of Virginia. And our bill actually passed 26-12 and just got held up in a local committee. So I've talked to my group has talked to almost every single senator and delegate in the state of Virginia. And I've talked to some of the senators previously that are up on Capitol Hill. I've talked to Jennifer Wexton, and I've talked to Senator Mark Warner, just because they're close to me. I've been in rooms with Tim Kaine before. So it's really important, if you're not involved in the political process, and it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. It does not matter. This is one of the issues that we have a lot of bipartisan support with. Join them and follow them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, join their town meetings, make posts publicly that are saying, we want support for the short-term rentals. We're here to support our communities. We want people to do well. And the more active we are, especially right now, the better chances there are of us winning. And I just wanted to answer a couple of the questions that have come in that I'm seeing come up. I know one came in from Tony saying he loves this idea, but wouldn't it be better for us to actually reach out unified and ask together? And I would say it would be wonderful if we could reach out unified and ask together, but it is not as effective as individuals calling. So think about it. When you're sitting at your business and 100 people want to rent your room or your house for the 4th of July, and you keep picking up the phone and they keep calling and saying, I want to rent for a week. I want to rent for a week. I want to rent for a week. It makes a big impact when you're getting call after call after call after call, or an email after an email after an email. It really makes a huge impact for them to get flooded with calls or emails telling them, you need to think about us. You need to consider short-term rentals, because we are a big part of the industry. And if you look at that letter that was sent out by Airbnb, there are some phenomenal data points in there about how much of a change it has made in the last couple of years. The travel industry is a huge part of the gross national product. It is really good. Forgive my dog. So anyway, it's just something really important to take care of. So do you guys have any other questions that I can answer for you?
Again, for those of you that might be just chiming in right now, the whole point of this live stream is for us to start taking action. It's really, really simple to go and to contact your senator and your local representative. If I was to just walk you guys through, when you go to shorttermsage.com/KOH, it'll pop up a little form. In this form, you can either subscribe to get notified from Patricia personally whenever there is an update that we all need to unify our voices and to take action. You don't have to, though. So you can easily just either subscribe or not. And then through here, you just click on the steps. So step 1, contact your local representative. You would go to this website, you would put in your zip code, and then you can contact your local representative. It gives you their email. Some cases, it might show you their phone number, shows you their website. Again, you go to step 2. Step 2, find your local senator. You go to this website. That'll pull this up. You put in your state. So you could just put in Maryland area or whatever. You can choose your senator. Which option should we be choosing for the different senators, though, Tricia? Because there's a lot of different senators.
What you really want to do is you want to click on your individual state, and you want to pick your state. So say pick Hawaii. And of course, I'm not going to really be able to see what you're doing right now, Julian. I know you can see it, but you want to actually, there's 3 different drop-down boxes, and you want to pick the drop-down box for the senators to the left. So it's one more drop-down box over, I think. And then it'll drop down and show you specifically which state you're in. And you just pick the state where your property is. So if you're a multi-property owner and you own properties down in Florida, you should be reaching out to your senators in Florida and also the state that you live in, because it gives you access to talk to a couple of different states right there, rather than just the individual one.
So should we be sending emails to both Democrat and Republican senators?
Yes, it does not matter. You are a constituent. So these are the people that are our officials that are, representing us right now. So it doesn't matter if they're Democrats or Republicans. And what we found is about 66% of the time we had support on both sides. There was absolutely no split between Democrats and Republicans. Most of the people that are out there that are representing us, they are very focused on supporting small businesses. And we're a part of that. We're a part of the engine for the country. So they're very focused on helping us, especially right now.
Right. So once you find your local your local representative and your senator, you could send this out to multiple states. So if you're located in multiple states, do this multiple times. Then step 3 is just simply copying this. This just describes, who we are, what we're asking. You can even put your own personal message if you want. You can give them a call, add your own personal story. Personal stories do help, but you just copy that, and then you would email the senator, and you'd email your representative. And that is it. That is all we're asking you guys to do. We're not asking for anything other than just go to shorttermsage.com/KOH, fill in, either subscribe or don't subscribe. That's totally up to you. But if we can unify our voices, that is going to be able to help us take more massive impact and be able to reach more. Because if they hear more from us, then we can have a larger impact. All right.
We had just another couple of questions that came in, and somebody asked previously if anybody was asking for property tax relief. And I think that's a realistic thing to ask for. If you don't have any income coming in, I'm seeing that on the news that federal taxes, people are trying to push federal taxes out a little bit. And I did see a town meeting earlier today saying that there's a possibility that they will try and push out state taxes as well, but that hasn't really been determined at this point. So if we ask specifically to be included in the disaster recovery bill, basically we're asking for access with the SBA to either get 0 interest loans or very low interest loans, and you can use that to pay your bills, including property tax. And then we had an additional question come in, and I'm going to leave this to John and Julian. What is your take on cancellations? Is 50-50 fair? You side with the host or the guest? What's your thoughts?
I take it that this is really in regards to specifically Airbnb. I think the real thing that we would really had liked is if we had a choice to really say, hey, we want to either give 50-50 or postpone the dates for a later date. Instead, we were told that, hey, we got to give 100% refund. So I think that's really what we're challenging in a sense. We don't like that, hey, somebody else just took control and said, we're going to take it all away.
Yeah. It's a frustrating situation for a lot of people. It really is.
All right. We have another comment that came in. Patricia would love the level of support that could be provided, if any, applied to new short-term rental hosts, or only those with a few years of applied to new.
I think it all applies, just to make it an easy answer. Even if you're brand new, even if you're thinking of getting into the space, this all helps. Again, we all are independent business owners to a certain extent. So we do need to make sure that, hey, if we're interested in this industry or we're active in this industry, that we're protecting our profits that we actually can pull in. And of course, it's great to kind of sit back and collect what we collect, but we also have to do our part to make sure that our voice is heard, to make sure that we're not getting stomped out by the big boys.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry for anybody that is maybe watching this in one of the other groups. If you're commenting, we're not going to be able to see those comments unless you're on the YouTube channel or in our own Facebook group. But if you do have any other questions, feel free to also reach out to Patricia. Patricia is an open book. She is looking to help as many people as she can. That's why she included her own cell phone number on there. So if you just want to...
if my voicemail is blocked up, please text me.
Yeah, Patricia's here for your support. And that's why, we really wanted to get her on onto the show and also highlight her because she's doing some really good things. She brought this up to our attention, and this is something that could have very easily slipped by us. Airbnb is not giving us any direction and saying, hey, you should be contacting your senators and your representatives. No, they don't say that. They said that they sent out an email, a message, but we can't just trust the Airbnb or any platform to take care of us. We are our own business owners, so we do have to vocally, reach out. If imagine if these senators and representatives are getting one email from Airbnb versus if they're getting hundreds of emails from all these hosts saying, hey, I need this money. I need to take out a loan, otherwise my business could fail. When you have 24 properties that are arbitrage units like John, or even if you have one property that's paying for your mortgage, maybe you're just depending on that property and that property's been able to sustain you. Regardless of where you're at, you are going to be impacted by this, and we are going to need support. All businesses do need the support. So again, go to shorttermstage.com/KOH, fill out the application, and just contact your local representative, contact your senator, use the email that we provided in there. You can just easily copy paste that, or give them a call. Better yet, give them a call, send the email, follow up with them, and make sure that they are including us in this bill.
I do see one more thing that kind of came in, and it's something that we talked about before in VRM, and somebody just asked for a link to sign a petition. So petitions are technically not worth really what they are. They're just a bunch of names on a piece of paper, and that's not what we're actively looking for. We're actively looking for some disturbance into our senators and representatives' day, just to make sure that we are heard. But signing a petition is really just it's just like just signing a piece of paper that you give to somebody else and their name isn't even on it.
And I will tell you, for a lot of people, and I've talked to friends about this in the past, a lot of people get really nervous about calling the senators and representatives. And the one thing I can tell you from experience, we are all very extroverted. We're all hosts. We like meeting new people. Don't be afraid to call them and just ask them for their support. 9 times out of 10, you are not going to get to talk to the senator. You may get a recording that says, if you have something you want to say to us, go ahead and leave a message. So it's basically a voicemail. You can just leave a message. Or they say, if you'd like to talk to one of our people in our office, press a different number. So if you press a different number, don't be surprised if you talk to one of their legislative aides. And that is not a bad thing. This legislative aides are there to listen to exactly what the constituents are saying. They are happy to take those stories in. And then depending on how many phone calls they get, they will bring those forward to the senators. So that's why it's really important. It's best to really talk to somebody. Those calls are critical. And if you're worried about talking to somebody, believe me, I understand. Sometimes it's easier to send an email and you can manipulate that email and send it out. But you can also jump on those town hall meetings that they're having, because so much stuff is public right now. And the senators and representatives want to get that information out to their constituents. They're all over Facebook and Twitter. So just follow them and respond to them and say, I hope you're not forgetting about short-term rentals. We are here to help everybody out. We want to be seen as our industry's ambassadors, because we are amazing people when it comes down to it. We do amazing things for our communities. So that's the best way to do that, is to represent us, the way we really are. And I need all of you to get out there and do that.
Awesome. Well, we're going to be wrapping this up. Again, this is going to be a replay. We're going to be putting this on the VRM podcast. This will also be on the YouTube channel. But again, just we're asking everybody to take a stand. We're asking to unify our voices through allowing us to be able to be written onto this bill, making sure that we want to make sure that we are covered. And again, in that letter that Airbnb sent, they are they're asking for low interest loans. That means that we're not included. We need to be included in this SBA bill that is currently being signed by all of these different states. And again, you can go to the disasterloans.sba.gov and you can see all the states that have currently signed it. We do not know if short-term rentals are in there, but we need to make sure that they are. Otherwise, millions, over 1 million hosts that have properties, more properties than there are hotel rooms are going to be impacted by this. And lots of people may, go out of business. Lots of people might have to foreclose. Lots of people are going to be put into situations that they should not be in. And it's up to us to be able to make sure that we are included in that. The hotel lobbyists, the hotel companies are literally going up to DC and they're, talking to the president saying, we need money. We need this money. Otherwise, we're going to go and, have to cut a bunch of jobs, go out of business. But we're hosts, we're with the hosting community. You're part of the host nation family. So we need to be able to unify our voice and get this out here. So again, I'm just going to wrap up. Again, go to shorttermsage.com/KOH, fill out the really quick form, just a few questions, finding out, where you are so that we can know if you are in a specific location, that if there is a bill that maybe we need support on, we can reach out to you and say, hey, let's send out an email. Let's take some action. Let's unify our voices. Trisha, John, do you have anything else that you wanted to share before we wrap this up?
Thank you so much for putting this together, Julian.
I just commented on somebody's comment, but pretty much, yes, Airbnb sent a letter. They didn't have a seat at the table. So that's not what we want. We don't want to just be reduced down to just a letter. Again, going back to the petition thing, okay, somebody wrote something down on a piece of paper. I don't know about you, but I let my mail pile up for days before I really go through it. So it doesn't really have that impact. When you disrupt somebody's day, or when you have at least some quality time, at least you're heard. And when that's done in repetition, that's really what we're looking to go for.
Yeah, Marriott and Hilton had a seat with the president. Airbnb just sends a letter. Is that okay? And no, that's not okay. That's why we need to be contacting our local representatives, contacting our senators, let them know that this is not okay. We deserve a seat on the table. Our homes are in perfect condition to be able to house people. If there are traveling nurses that need a place to stay, if there are people that need to be quarantined, you can't quarantine a person in a hotel room and expect them to stay there for 2 weeks. That's miserable. But if someone's going to be staying in a property that has everything that they need, that's so much better. And we need to be able to get our voice out there. So again, go to shorttermsage.com/KOH. Contact your local representatives and senators. And I believe that's going to be it. We're going to take this. We're going to turn this into the podcast again. And this will also be available on YouTube. Everything that you need to be able to send all the emails and everything that you can just copy and paste. You can either call, copy, and send it to them. It's all on that website, shorttermsage.com/KOH. All right. And I think that will be it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Patricia, again for taking the time to jump on here. Thank you for calling me up this morning, and I'm grateful that I took your phone call right away, because this is something that we needed to put together last minute, because it is important. All of our businesses are affected. Your business will be affected by this if we are not included on that bill. We're already going to be hurting. We're already going to have to see changes in our business, but we need our government support, and we can't trust that Airbnb's little letter that it is going to be enough to be able to, cause a change. So thank you, everybody, for joining. And until next time, everybody, keep on hosting.